This episode is sponsored by the Long Nail Diva, fashion fit for a diva with long nails. Make sure you visit her website now and tell them Ressie G sent you. Is it really that deep?
Not really, but we make it that way.
Well, let's casually talk about it.
Let's do it.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Oakland Jonas Galloway, aka OJ the OG, and I still got the juice.
And it's Ressie G, not Cardi B, but I still get to the money. Oh, and welcome back to Casually Deep. I know we've been gone for a minute, but it's for a very good reason.
Absolutely. We have been, looking at things, reforming things, reprogramming some things. We wanted to make sure that we give you guys the best content possible and maximize the time that you take out of your days to spend with us. So we wanted to do some restructuring to the show. And one of those developments is going to be this segment right here. I know you guys have heard us talk about Reality Rehab on the show, but we wanted to take that segment and kind of expand it into its own little mini show within a show, just so that we could take some topics that we in the reality TV space can kind of just take out, talk about, break down in a more expanded format so that we won't have to, cut it down really sharp for you guys and we can really, get into the things. You know what I mean?
And honestly speaking, we see everybody else doing it, so why not let us jump into the game too and give some very casual topics that everybody's talking about, but still get a little deep. So let's go ahead and jump right into Reality Rehab. So as you all know, it is currently the Sweet 16, Season 16 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, me as a Georgia Peach, I was happy to see them finally back. There are some girls on there you guys know who I've worked with, who I've been friends with, and all that good stuff. But some things that really have shaken the internet is this whole Britt Eady and Kenya Moore situation. It's gone a little too far, but we want to talk about that to break it down, because my thing is with it. So if you guys don't know, if you haven't watched, definitely go right on over to Peacock. This is not, they don't pay us to do this, so we just doing it just to do it, to support the girls. Go over to Peacock or Bravo and take a look at the season. But long story made kind of short, give y'all the cliff notes. When Kenya and Britt Eady met at Shamia's birthday party, Kenya asked her about her ring. Now, granted, I don't feel like what she was asking was shady, because if you know a woman of a certain caliber that's been married, of a certain age, when you see a ring on the finger, it's not just a rock sitting there, which you would think it would be an engagement ring, which is what I believe that Kenya thought. I don't think that Kenya came in wanting to cause a rift with this woman. Moving on to that, from there, the next time we see them in a room again together is at the bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we get to the bank, it's really, I think Britt was kind of pressed by Kenya for some reason. From to me, I think she felt she was a little pressed. I think she was another pretty girl that came into the room, came into the fold, and she wanted to pick a fight. But the gag of it all is karma's a bitch, because let's not forget that Kenya Moore was coming for Nene Leakes when she was the new girl on the block as well, because, like Nene has so iconically said, when you want to get noticed, you come for the queen.
Big call, okay?
Okay. And then from there, that night when everything kind of ended, Kenya was paying it. Kenya was not into it. She was not trying to have these beefs or conversations or whatever you want to call it. And the night ended, she left, and Britt Eady was popping off, talking about she has a weapon. She would do this and do that to her, threatening her, mind you. And everything is on camera, and she's less than 500 feet away from this lady in a parking lot. So she chose to get in the car with Portia in her Rolls Royce and pull off down the street. And the next time these girls in the room again is at the Kenya Moore hair spa opening.
Bum, bum,
Now,
bum.
now, when we take a look at what happened at the Kenya Moore hair spa opening, I believe that, well, first of all, shout out to the editors because they clocked in.
They were
Okay.
clocked in.
The editors clocked in. And I really kind of hate that. Well, my viewpoint, I'm gonna go from mine. When Britt decided to bring the flowers to Kenya to apologize, to me, I feel that she was extending an olive branch. I think that she was trying to say, because Shamia had just did it with Angela. I think she was trying to extend the olive branch and just say, you know what, girl, I was wrong. My bad. I didn't mean it. Let's just move on from it. I was upset. Kenya was like, girl, please. She did not care. She
No,
should have
ma'am.
ignored her. And I felt sorry for Britt in the moment. And then Kenya proceeds to pull out
Okay.
the poster boards of explicit images.
Mm-hmm.
And then, production posted that Kenya Moore was no longer going to be a part of the show. The big conversation around is, should Kenya have been fired from, or what seems to have been fired from the Real Housewives of Atlanta because of the explicit photos of, basically, I haven't seen the photos. Have you seen the photos?
I haven't seen the photos. I've been looking. I have
I,
not seen, but according to what Cynthia said, and according to what the entire internet said a year ago when this leaked, there were basically explicit images of Britt Edie performing a sexual act on someone else in the manner of fellatio, right?
mm-hmm,
And the way that Cynthia described it in the episode spoke clear to that.
mm-hmm.
So
Because she didn't want to see that.
she didn't
I
want
want
to
to
see
see
that.
somebody. Da-da-da-da.
I don't need to see nobody.
Okay.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess the conversation is, did Kenya go too far? Did she not go too far? And then when we look at the things that have happened within the Real Housewife franchises all over, do I think that she went too far? I think that she did predictable Kenya, and I think that the people were kind of fed up. But I would like to know if the same production team from that know Kenya's antics before is the same ones that's currently with her now, because it gave very much low tolerance.
It was very much like, oh girl, we not doing all that. Like, oh girl.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, there's a couple of ways that we can attack this conversation, and I want to kind of get into the opinions and the feeling side of it and what we think and how we feel of it. And then I want to kind of extract some factual, kind of matter of fact things and implement that in there. Because the way that I see it, there's really no one person that's 100% right and there's 100% wrong. There's
Mm-hmm.
no way to really determine that. I think that, um, you know, me personally, I had a different opinion of Britt Edie coming into Kenya Moore's hair event with the flowers. I thought, I think she's smarter than she's being given credit for. I think
Smarter
that
than the
she's
average '90s video vixen.
very that. She
Mm-hmm.
is very that. I think that she knows what she's doing. And I think that she is your favorite Housewives fan. Like, she's one of the girls who is of this generation of housewives who are fans of the show who now get a spot. And now they come in and they know what the formula is. And now they coming in to do the job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Britt Edie watched Kenya on season 5 come in and have them girls holding on to their weaves. And she's coming in and she's following Kenya's original formula, if you really pay attention to it. But the difference is that Kenya was approaching this season very differently. She
Yeah.
came in very unbothered. She came in very cool, calm, and collected. She was doing her little thing. Now, I do agree with you about the wedding ring confrontation because one, I've been married, so I know. And then two, anybody who, like you get engaged, you get the big ring, and then at the ceremony you get the wedding band, and it's a set, and it's a thing, it's a whole thing, right? So I was asking the same question when Kenya was like, "Oh, is that your first ring? Is that your engagement ring? Are you engaged? Are you married?" Because I was like, "Oh, well, she ain't got a wedding band on," and she keeps talking about this 10 karat rock, and I'm like, "Well, girl, where's the band?" Anyway, so that made perfect sense to me. But I
Mhm.
think that Britt Eady is somebody who is coming in so hot and she doesn't read the room. Like you're coming in and you know that Kenya's the girl, she's the big girl. So if you want to make some noise, you're gonna have to come for her. You're gonna have to come for her, or you're gonna have to come for Portia. Kelly came in coming for Portia, so you coming in coming for Kenya. I think y'all came in as a dynamic duo. And in some ways, it's benefited you, and in some ways, it's blown up in your face because it's benefited you in the way that you're still here and now that King is gone. However, the entire cast is seeming to have turned against you now that press is rolling around because your best friend who stood up for you, Britt, in the scene,
Mhm.
now she's saying you're her least favorite housewife, and everybody else
Mhm.
is like, girl, Shamia is. So there's a bigger conversation around that, and I think there's layers in that when it comes to production, when it comes to the girls and how they think about how they're coming into the show, because Portia said something that stood out to me. She said that she Britt came in for same old Kenya.
Mhm.
And she didn't expect Kenya to not really care. She didn't expect Kenya to approach her differently because Kenya's so solidified. She's like, girl, I'm here. Like, girl, I'm here. I'm one of the only girls that came back. Like, girl, I've been here longer than any girl has been here. And like, girl, what? So, what we talking about? And I, I just think that Britt was playing the game. Say all of that to say, when she came into the hair spa event, I think that she was playing the game because her original plan was to come in and be the little puppy that takes on the big dog, and she gonna come in and make noise, and she gonna be the new queen bee in town, and she gonna come in and shake up the table, and that
Mhm.
didn't work for her. So now when she saw that, oh, all the cast is saying I'm doing too much, I'm going too far, why am I so mad? What's going on here? Now I'm gonna play victim,
Mhm.
right? So now she comes with the whole I never meant to threaten Kenya. I never wanted to her to feel like I can harm her and this, that, and the third. And it's like, girl, there's only so much grace that we can give for you were just mad, you were just talking, this, that, and the third. It's like, girl, we grown, babe.
Mhm.
We grown. And there are people like Kenya and there are people like Dr. Greg on Married to Medicine who will take the littlest things and take it as far as they can take it. Okay. So you may just want to watch your tone and keep your hands on your head because she thinking she done got the big dog up out of here, but everybody now has the target that she had on Kenya on her back.
Right, because all they would do next season, because I mean, I think the numbers are gonna pick up, and Britt, you'll be out the door just as quick as Claudia Jordan was and Kim Fields was, and you'll be out of there.
Shamari was.
Shamari was, because if you don't hold no weight, then you'll be right up out of there, and then they'll bring Kenya D more back. I mean, but there is always and has always been so much nuance in the show's history. I think we
Hmm.
talked about this offline, but even going back to this whole threat thing, like how far is too far? And when we look at things that have happened in the past, like when Kenya threatened Phaedra when Phaedra was pregnant,
Pregnant.
and it's like, well, that was a threat, but at the same time, does that equal up to what they're trying to push as revenge porn, if that makes sense?
I think that I equate the whole threat situation. I'm like, okay, I think about it like this. Where it just there's a blurred line when it comes to how far is too far. Because when you go back in the show's history, there was Kenya threatening Phaedra when she was pregnant, which is crazy. But then we can even take it and make it more applicable to this situation and go, I think it was maybe the same season or a season after that when Kenya was in her closet with Brandon and she was joking with her friend and she pulled out her whole piece and was
Hmm.
like,
Take this with me.
do
Hmm.
I need to show up to the, do I need to? But I think something that, once again, the key word in this part of the conversation is nuance, because I've heard people say, oh, nobody took Brit Edie seriously. And I'm sure that people say nobody took Kenya seriously when she threatened um, Phaedra when she was pregnant. But how many times and how many shows have we seen somebody threaten somebody and they don't do something, and then somebody threatens somebody and then it goes completely left?
But I think the tone of how Britt said it, though, is different because we all know Kenya Moore is a girl. She's an actress, so she's going to do what's good for television. And
Mm-hmm.
so the joke of, girl, I'll drag you down this street pregnant and all, or girl, I'll pull out. Do I need to take my gun with me? Is different from, she don't know who I am. I'll pull out a da-da-da on her. And bop, bop,
Correct.
bop, bop. That's different.
That's
And
why, yeah.
go
That's
ahead.
why I felt like those two, specifically Kenya pulling out her piece and then Brittany threatening her piece, it was like, okay, girl, like, yeah, those things are similar, but they'll never cross because of the tone intended. Kenya was walking around there joking, kikiing, like, girl, if she feeling froggy, then we can, like, it wasn't like nobody would have ever believed that she would have done that. Now, when it comes to her threatening Phaedra pregnant, that's a different story for me. That's one that I would have had to take seriously. Her pulling out this gun is not something that I would have had to take seriously. Britt, I full on believed she was gonna walk up on Kenya in that parking lot.
I
I
think so
full on
too. I think so too because it was like we don't know Brit. First of all, we don't know her.
at all.
So we have to take everything that she's saying as truth the first time.
Couple
And
that with all
because
the history that we have on her, her history gives very love and hip hop orientation.
oh yeah, it definitely
She gives
gives
a
love
very
pop
loving hip
coded.
hop. Oh, if you try
Hmm.
me, if you push me, I'm gonna pop you and it's gonna crank.
Right.
So your energy is like, as Ayana would say, your delivery diminishes your message.
Right. And so I don't really think that it's a situation of I don't think that she should have been suspended or fired from the show from what she did. I do
Brit,
believe that no, Kenya. I think
mm,
that it was too far, but it was blurred. It didn't show. I think they should have just kind of pumped her brakes for a little bit, or I think both of them should have just been, out of there because it's the same thing of Portia versus Jamie when
it
she
is
ran down that alley after that lady.
in them snow boots and whipped her
And
ass.
but I mean, but in Portia's defense, she was provoked. She had a reason. They weren't on camera filming. They just so happened to catch her.
Hmm.
But it's like, and
You
it wasn't
know,
housewife against housewife.
in a, you know, the whole should Kenya be suspended thing. I can't say yes or no because I need some legal questions answered. I need some legal questions answered. And this is where my feelings come out of it. And I get more into like, let's get the Googling and schmoogling. And I did some digging to really figure out what the revenge porn laws are in Georgia specifically. Because if you look at Kenya's response to Radio Andy when he had some people on there and they were talking about what she did was revenge porn and sexual assault and this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. She posted a response recently basically saying if you aren't familiar with the revenge porn laws in Georgia, then STFU. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to familiarize myself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still complications here because based on the action and the intention of what Kenya did, it full on reads as revenge porn. However, there's a little bit of red tape in there when we try to understand, were these like porn, was this porn she was doing, Was this her nudes that leaked? Was this OnlyFans? Like what type of images? Like how did Kenya obtain these images? Because the way that she obtains it kind of clears or muddies the water on if it crosses that line into revenge porn. Because if you look up the laws, it's basically the images and things of a person that can be leaned towards a sexual nature or that they wouldn't want released, distributed without their consent. Now, I dig a little further and I looked up if something like an OnlyFans being released to the public is considered revenge porn, right? Or if porn or OnlyFans was leaked from where it was intended to be
Mhm.
seen to another space that it wasn't intended to be seen, is that considered now revenge porn? And there's no clear answer on that because when it comes to porn, there's release waivers that are signed, there's documented paperwork, and there are things that now strip a person of their right to ownership of the material that they now just engaged themselves in, right? When it comes to OnlyFans, there are terms and conditions and things of that nature, and there are um, encryptions and security measures put in place so materials like that aren't leaked, right? Are they always put in place by the creators? No. So some people's stuff does leak. Um, but there is no clear line on if those things are considered porn or not, or if they're considered revenge porn or not, because it goes back to the intention part of it, which in this case, if you take the muddiness of the red tape out of it, which I still want to follow up with this and get a clearer answer on that, but I think the reason why, excuse me, I think the reason why Bravo decided to suspend Kenya was because the line was too blurry and the tape was too red. It was too close to something that they could be liable for. It's too close for comfort. It's too
Mhm.
close to revenge porn. It's all the signs are pointing, and yes, there's loopholes and red tape and ifs, ands, and buts, but couple that with the last few years in Bravo's history and them getting all of the backlash and all of the reprimands about the way that they conduct themselves with their reality stars, and they've really tightened up on their protocols when it comes to the things that they do and do not tolerate.
Mhm.
So, like you said earlier, Kenya might have gotten away with this around the time that she pulled the cookie lady incident.
Mhm.
She might have gotten away with that then. Now, it's Me Too, it's work environment issues, it's race, it's assault, there's just too many things that people have now decided to focus their energy on when it comes to laws and how things are approached legally, that she set herself up for failure, regardless of if by Georgia law specifically there are sanctions that separate her from revenge porn, because this was something that was available on the internet and not something that she hacked into her phone and stole. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Because I mean, if it's out publicly, and then I think that's when it gets again, it gets very muddy or whatnot. Because if it was something private that was never supposed to get out, that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing. But if it's already out on a platform or it has been around floating somewhere, and she just showed your truth to other people, it's still
Mm-hmm.
classless and pretty crass. But I mean, it's already out there. But I do think that, I mean, as a network, I mean, you got to do what you got to do to keep it safe. Um, but at the same time, I think this is also a case of when fans get on a show that they love so much and they start acting like this, because you could have very well been friends with Kenya. You could have, but you chose to always make a fight or make it a thing. From what we've seen, you've always chose to make it a thing of, are you going to speak nice to me? That's not a real hug. It's like, girl, I'm hugging. Like she said, that's a hug so I don't get makeup on you. You
And
know.
then I also have to take that point and kind of trail that back to Kenya just a little bit, because I feel like there was a lot of pressure on Kenya and Drew, probably more so Kenya, to make this show work. This is season 16. We done fired about 6 of y'all, and this show is on the rocks right now. And y'all need to make this work. They put a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of effort into getting this cast this season to a point where they were like, okay, y'all finna come back and y'all finna take it back, right? And so I feel like Kenya felt the pressure to turn it, right? And she's like, okay, I done gave you 2 scenes where I done played it cute with you.
Mm-hmm.
And now you done took it to a point where, do I feel Kenya more genuinely felt threatened that Britt Edie was going to pull out a piece and shoot her? No. However, Kenya is the type of girl that if you give her an inch, she will take 10 miles and still want to Sanya's gold medals on the way.
I
Okay?
think that she definitely felt tried, and it's like, girl,
She
you're
felt
doing too
pride.
much.
I don't think she
Definitely
felt
felt
like
tried.
she was in danger.
Yeah. But I don't think she's even said that she felt that she was in danger, or I may have missed that. I think that it was just the idea of the threat or the implied threat, or whatever however you want to put it, that she made, that made the situation that she tried to use to validate her action after.
Correct. I agree
So
with your point.
that's the thing about it. It's like, girl, you should have did something else. Like just posting the face, we don't know this girl, who is she? That could have been enough right
If
there.
she
Because
would
that
have
would have been a
stopped, exactly.
she
I
should have just
think that
stopped
she could have
right
turned
there.
this whole thing up, and if she would have stopped at that, even at the trap hole video hole poster board, we didn't see what that was, but they didn't put the black screen up until she flipped that third poster board around. So I'm thinking, that second poster board was probably just, her in a thong shot, ass the camera, just sexy, you know what I'm saying? And her just trying to say, look, she a hoochie. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that would have been enough. You pulling out all her old faces, okay, kiki kiki ka 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 ka. The cast was with you. They were still like, girl, what you doing? This is Kenya crazy, girl. What's going on? And then it got to the second one, and they were like, okay, this is getting weird. This is getting a little weird. I don't know if I want this watch. And then she flipped that other one, and then everybody was like, oh, girl, we got to go. Scattered like rats. I think she took. Listen, this is where that philosophy of you can't push someone and tell them how mad to get backfires. Because, yes, while that is true, and there are cases and contexts where I can make a case for that, I have made a case for that. But in that thinking, the person doing the reaction has to have a level of self-awareness to determine how far these actions are going to impact them personally.
Right.
Because as a recovering crash out, I am now taking recovering. I have admitted that I am a crash out. That is step 1. That means I have entered recovery. We ain't gonna talk about steps 2 through 12. I'm on my journey, okay? Now I done started the process.
And you're still here.
And I am still here.
Here.
Okay. It's the journey. No, but but as a recovering crash out, I'm constantly checking myself to be like, yes, I have a reason to do whatever I'm doing or to feel the way that I'm feeling. But if the results of me crashing out are going to impact me negatively just as much or more as the person I'm crashing out on, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it, babe. It's time to rethink. Let's rethink something else. Let's do something else.
Yeah. I mean,
She really should have did something else. She's way too smart.
As a recovered crash out.
All right.
Now I just know how to, I still read. But I think that it is that that thin line between going too far and really, sometimes you just have to, I don't want to say take the high road, but I mean, Kenya, they could have, I don't know if she got, my question is, she get fully paid? You know what I'm
She
saying, for the season. I mean, you know, you're messing up your money flow, and you really don't have, from what we see, much else that is creating revenue for yourself. So that's always gonna be to me, a thought in my mind of how is she gonna sustain.
correct. And it's an interesting thing to me when it comes to violence on reality television because, if we stick within the Real Housewives landscape, um, a lot of people have tried to pull the race card and say that, when Jennifer Pendrati cracked that glass across Jennifer Aiden's head in New Jersey, that ba- nobody got fired. Nobody got suspended. Everybody showed up to brunch the next day and cussed each other out like ain't nothing ever happened, right? If you want to go back a little further, go back to Real Housewives of Miami when Joanna Krupa got drugged across an entire ballroom by Adriana. And then they went to the pool party the next day and drank pina coladas and mimosas. Okay?
And got caught in the rain. I just, it's always, I think people pick and choose what reference points they want to use, especially when it comes down to if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong, especially in Bravo world.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole world within itself that I think was lightning in a bottle that was released and it's still up there in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Um, excuse me. And I really feel like, I think that the powers that be over at Bravo have never shown their faces because I really want to know. Like, I would love to have conversations with those girls. Like, who is above Andy,
I've been saying
making
this for
everything happen?
years. I've been saying this for years. The person who I want to have a conversation with is the head of Bravo's social responsibility department.
If
That's who
they're
I want to talk to.
who over HR?
I need to talk to them because you know while going back to the race card really quick, that's where I pull the race card out of this, and I think it has less to do with the race card. It has more to do with who's pulling in the ratings and who is the more favorable cast member. Because if you go back, the whole reason that the Real Housewives of Potomac skyrocketed to fan favorite status and now it's in everybody's mouths is because after 5 seasons, some stuff popped off. And what it was Monique finally drugged Candace after she was asking her for 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Monique didn't get fired either. Quite in fact, Monique got asked back and she refused the contract. So now it's like, at this point, y'all know Monique is a fan favorite. Y'all know Candace is a fan favorite. Y'all know them on the show together is gold. So it's less to do with protecting your cast members and, protecting the audience. And there's less of a morality that comes into play when it comes to handling these situations. And it's more so about, okay, who's going to keep these people watching? And is this story going to keep people going? Now, that leads me into a question because if that were the case and that was the case up until now, what has changed for season 16 of Real Housewives of Atlanta? Because can't nobody tell me that this storyline they they probably wouldn't have talked about nothing else the rest of the season,
Mm-hmm.
but this and the fallout of this and how the dynamics change because of this.
I'm ready to see what the shift is going to be because everybody in social media world knew that this was coming. Now
Mm-hmm.
that it has come, I don't want to hear about this on and on. Kenya's gone. Britt, go ahead and cry. We see that she's going to be crying soon about the situation, and not to discount her feelings or anything like that, but I don't think that this should
Yeah.
be harped on or carried on. Like, let's move on to something else.
I think
And
she's
she,
playing the game. She got her alley oop, and so she better make this spotlight that she got put on her work for her. Because, like we said, by the end of the season, everybody don't like her. Don't nobody like her by the end of the
hopefully,
season.
she like herself. I mean, I just wonder, is Kenya gonna be at the reunion? That's the question.
It's needed. It's definitely needed. Even if you just bring her in for the first part and knock that out and send her on by her way back to the hair spa, she need to be there to
Hmm.
say something. Like,
I
but I
agree.
really, but I need for. I mean, yeah, Britt better like herself. I mean, it's clear that she likes herself. We can see by her soggy tagline that she likes herself. But as Andy always says, if you isolate yourself to an island and nobody wants to film with you, what can we do with that?
So she'll be out. Kenya will be back in.
She's out. Kenya will be back in, and we're gonna see how Donkey Booty versus Stallion Booty 2.0 goes.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense to bring in. I'm ready to see Phaedra. Let's see what she gives when she comes on in. So, um,
I want Deshaun Snow back.
Deshaun ain't coming back to that.
She ain't coming, but she would fit really well with Shamia and Angela and Kelly. She would fit really well with those. I think she would fit well with this group. I think there was really no place for Deshaun all these years, but I think that this is a cast that she could slide into, even if she just popped in as a friend, showed up with Cynthia down to the brunch or something, talked a little smack and hit it on back to her estate. You know what I mean?
I think it would be nice to see Deshaun, but I think that Deshaun would be more comfortable with some hardcore veterans that were there when she was there, like Nene or Lisa Wu or Sheree. I'm okay with not seeing Sheree, but
I'm
I
about to say,
mean,
please don't bring back
at
Sheree.
this point, it would be they need to just. I'm ready for networks to start doing what we want. Bring back Mariah. Bring back Nene. Come on, Candy, go ahead and get you another spinoff. Like, girl, I mean, just do what these people what we're asking, because it would make, if ratings is all y'all are worried about, go ahead and do what's going to give you guys ratings. We have already told y'all what's going to give you ratings, so let us, because I would watch the show on Bravo when it airs if the people were there that I wanted to see. But
Mm-hmm.
now that we got the on demand moments with Peacock, it's like, okay, well, I can watch it whenever I need to. And I mean, but we can move on.
We can move
Comment
on.
below who is in the right and who is in the wrong. Who are you, Team Kenya? Are you Team Brit? Let us know in the comments. Yeah, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
What's going on, everybody? This is OJ the OG, but I still got the juice. And I wanted to tell you guys about the Long Nail Diva. For all of the latest styles in t-shirts, hoodies, and even jewelry, go and place your orders with the Long Nail Diva. Go shop today.
All right. So, moving on, there was a cute little announcement that happened about a new show featuring some of your favorite Bravo celebrities, children, as well as some other poppin' youngsters that have been around and about as well. So the trailer was everything. If you guys haven't watched it, it is available online. We are not going to play it.
Generation New York City.
We're not going to play it because we don't get paid for that.
They've been teasing the idea of this for a while of, next generation Bravo kids, what we gonna do when the kids grow up, and we don't want to see housewives in their 80s. So what's gonna happen when we bring out these, new kids and their kids gonna grow up and these people that we've been watching grow up on the show. Great, happy for it, sick thing. Um I wonder if there are some questions that I have. One, I wonder how they chose the Bravo kids that they chose, how they chose the people who weren't Bravo kids that they chose, and how they came to the conclusion of mixing Bravo kids with semi-unknowns and other notables throughout. Were there just not enough Bravo kids? Could they not just fill those slots? Was it a conscious decision from the beginning to mix and match? Or how they came about? Because I think the idea is interesting. However, when you look at the trailer, there's a great focus on the Bravo kids, with the exception of maybe one or two, like Amira or
Mm-hmm.
or Amira. I'm not sure who she is, but production likes her because she was all up and through that trailer. But they love the Bravo girls and the Bravo kids. What I think is interesting about the Bravo kid casting is that Brooks Marks, Meredith Marks' son from Salt Lake City, was cast from the beginning, and his sister Chloe pops up sometime throughout the season, and she shakes up the group according to the press release that was released via an article. I think it might have been, I read it at Entertainment Weekly. Don't quote me on that. But in an article, it was stated that his sister Chloe shows up sometime throughout the season and shakes it up.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about?
I mean, I really didn't. I haven't really gotten to any of some of the Bravo celebrities. I mean, of course, I'm here to see what Riley has to say. I'm here to see what Gia is gonna give.
I'm so
We're
excited
gonna
for her.
look at the photos too. But I'm really interested to seeing Amira, because she's the first Black transgender Victoria's Secret model. She became that
Hmm.
in 2022, and then she's the first full-time cast member to be trans on Bravo. So
Six.
I like that Bravo is leaning into DEI. I like that Bravo is leaning into what we want to see. And I think that she's going to be a key. As far as who they chose and who I would like to know too, because I mean, and honestly speaking, I think that some of the people that were chose could probably handle it because they've been around and their
Hmm.
parents have weathered the storm in so many different ways. So they kind of have that extra guidance, if you will. And I think that
It's
some
like
of the
they
other
came in with
people,
media training already.
right. And I think that some of the others just probably their parents may not have had the best experience. And, that's just what it is. I would have loved to see um what's his name? Is it Bryson? Nini's son?
Brent.
Brent.
Well, Brent is the younger one, and then I think
Bryson's
Bryson
the older, not that one, the youngest one.
one with the
Yeah.
baby mamas. Brent
Brent.
is the one that went through all of the medical things that
Right.
happened.
I would have liked to see him in a capacity, but I mean, of course, it's based in New York. So he was, because I mean, there's no Black guy on the show. I mean, I would love to see like a Black gay guy. I think that would have been
Mm-hmm.
fab, and I think that they could have went back and dug up some of the kids from the Bravo shows that we may have forgotten about. But
Mm.
I mean, they could have made some type of connections. Like, I mean, I know there's a flip a house link to, or you know what I'm saying, like those
There's
old shows. Somebody out there
uh-huh. There's
to
some
give more
$1 million listing
versatility,
kid somewhere.
right? Somebody, but I mean, or
Tabitha
even if
Coffee
it's,
ain't got no kids.
I mean, like, where is Leah Black? Leah Black is my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it is based in New York, so I don't want this to be a
How old
franchise.
are Marlo's nephews?
They're not old enough. They're still in high school.
Oh.
I don't want this to be a franchise. I don't want Next Generation to be a franchise.
Oh,
I
they've
think
already
that
marketed it as that. It's Next Generation NYC. It's a franchise.
I really don't want that. I mean, I really, really, really don't want that
I
because
kind of do
I think
though, because
that
I think it'll give us a chance to do exactly what we're talking about and dig up some of those old Bravo kids. Like if they franchise it to all the cities that they have Real Housewives shows in already, I think that could be interesting. Because if they take it to, let's say, Atlanta next, then maybe we could see what some of the other kids are doing. Or if they take it to Beverly Hills, then maybe we could see what Kyle's kids are doing. We could see what Garcelle's kids are doing. We can see what Renna's kids are doing. We can see, like there's a whole cast over there in Beverly Hills. Orange County, I'm sure got kids over there that's grown. Salt Lake Brooks is from Salt Lake over there, so but he was living in New York already, so that is what it is. But I think it'd be interesting. I don't know how many cities they could franchise this to, though.
I just
That
think
is
that when
something
it comes
like
down to
how.
like kids shows, it just never kind of like, because I mean you have the Sweet Life that Issa Rae produced, and it was like the kids and their friends. And then it was
Growing up hip
Rich
hop.
Kids of Beverly Hills. No, I ain't talking about the ratchet. I'm talking about like more of the high caliber stuff that still didn't work. Like that
Okay.
growing up hip hop stuff, it ain't even really growing up hip hop. You got old fogies over there
Uh,
on the show.
Well, I'll give you that point of when they franchised it. When they franchised it, it got kind of sticky.
Hmm.
But I will say the way that they casted it was pretty interesting. Like I wish the New York version that they did worked because that was a good show. That was a good cast, Savannah. But say all of that to say, Rich Kids of Beverly Hills is the example for me because I'm like, that didn't work, really?
It's because it's kids. I'm not interested in kids. Like there's nothing that y'all can really do. Like me personally, I'm just not interested in seeing kids, or I guess it's because I'm not a kid, so I
Hmm.
can't look at someone and be like, oh, I want to be like that. Like when Rich Kids, Rich Kids, they did the documentary about the rich kids that then morphed into Rich Kids of Beverly Hills. I mean, it was good then, but now that the girls are older, now I want to see them. I want to see what EJ's doing now that he's
Right. He had his
older.
own show for a minute. I don't know what
He
happened to
was
that. I don't know.
he was on Rich Kids of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, but he had his own show too after Rich Kids of Beverly Hills. He had
Mm.
EJ NYC or something like that. He had his own show. I don't know how long it lasted or how well it did, but I do remember it being promoted, and I see clips of it on YouTube a lot. But I don't know what happened to that either. But he had his own little thing going on for a second there.
Kids. And I think that kids only work good when you see the full aspect of the family. Like Family Hustle, the best one of it all, Runs House. Um,
Oh,
Kamora Lee's show was so
yes,
good. And I'm interested in seeing that full dynamic of the family, because I think that we get away from what reality TV started out as, and what it is a look behind the veil of these people that you wouldn't necessarily have any connection to. So that's what I'm still rooted in and wanting to see. Now, if it was a situation of the competition shows or the real world or Survivor, that type of aspect, I would enjoy that more, even though that's not really the type of TV that I watch, or type of reality TV or non-scripted content that I watch. But I mean, more power to him. I don't want to be underwhelmed, because I don't know if Riley has a personality. You know what I'm saying?
that is
I don't
something I
know.
was surprised by when she got casted because if you remember her from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, she was very much facial expressions, and I think we've heard her say 10 sentences in 10 years on the
I
Real
mean,
Housewives of Atlanta.
it
That's not
made
to take
sense
anything
because of
away
who her
from her.
mom is. So I mean, I think she got it based on who her mom is. And
And
I don't really know so much of if
do you
I don't
think
know if
Candy
she
and
can
Todd are
hold the
producers on
audience.
this?
You said what?
Do you think Candy and Todd are producers on this?
I hope not, because we know it's gonna fail.
Because because you don't think that this has anything to do with Candy's first look deal with NBC
I hope
Universal,
not.
doesn't?
I hope she has nothing to do with this show. I want her to focus on everything off screen, because she's doing well in that space. And I
Mhm.
think that for some reason, even though the shows are good, they never let them people win. Because Candy and the Gang was a great show. Candy Factory was a great show. The ski trip was a great show. The wedding was good. Every spinoff that Candy has had has been great. But I don't want her hands in it again until they put some respect on her name. And
That.
Todd to me was, I don't believe that he was a producer. I think that he was on the production team. You
Well,
get
he
what I'm
was
saying?
well, like he was over budgets and stuff.
Well,
He
I would
said,
say, listen, Candy, Todd, y'all come and hire me. I am a producer. I remember when Candy had the online network with Candy Online. She had the online network, and all those girls had a show there. I emailed every single day to try and get in touch with them people, and nobody ever responded. And then I just continued to style, and I would see her out and about, and blah 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 blah. But if y'all need a producer, come and get me. All y'all gotta do is just pay me the right thing, and I just pay me something, and I'll do the job, and I ain't gonna say nothing. My
check
mouth
my credentials. I
okay.
give you everything you want, everything you
Everything you
need.
need.
Even your friends say I'm a good woman. Candy, in this
So,
case, this is facts.
but I
But
mean,
one,
I think that I mean, I'll tune in. I'll give it a couple episodes. I'll be watching.
I'm excited for the show because they aren't kids; they're young adults. I think that if this was like Laguna Beach for Bravo celebrities, where it's like following the kids in high school, then I would be not here for this. But I want to see how these rich kids of these Bravo celebrities that we've seen grow up. I want to see how they really like making it out here. Are we gonna see the silver spoon? Are we gonna see what's really going on? Are they out here working? Because in that trailer, when Riley spent $14,000 on a boat, girl, what in
And
the
it's like
Kevin Hunter is going on?
some of the money. I'm like, y'all, listen. I don't know. I think
I want to see these girls come.
I
Like
don't
I
really
want to
know
like.
what
I'm
they're.
hoping
Uh,
I'm just hoping that this show is really like these girls getting it out the mud. These girls
it's not
out
that.
here hustling.
It's not
These
that.
girls, they gonna be. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna be social media influencers and models and using their nepotism to get where they got to go. But I'm hoping it's not. Oh, my parents pay my bills and I'm just running around doing things that I can do because I'm cute and I have a name. Like I can do it. Like Riley, if you went to NYU, let me see you somewhere holding a boom mic. Let me see you somewhere getting coffee.
No,
Let me
that's
see you
Kayla.
somewhere.
That's Kayla. And the gag is,
But
why isn't Kayla on the show?
but didn't Riley go to NYU too?
She did, but she went to school. She graduated. But where is Kayla?
Kayla's somewhere working on Love and Hip Hop. Maybe I don't know if she's still working on Love and Hip Hop, but if she do, she need to leave. But yeah, why ain't Kayla on? Because Kayla is Todd's daughter, not Candy's. Regardless of what they tell us, the the network sees Riley, and especially with Riley just getting ready to do, um, they they just came off of the Red Table Talk spinoff, Generation Face Off.
Did you ever
Congrats.
watch it?
She was more visible, huh?
Did you ever watch it?
No,
She was
I was
barely
not
visible
interested.
under all that hair.
I was not interested. I'm not here
Not
for the
a good
hair
look for her.
thing. Like
Not a good look for her.
it's just way too much hair for
With
me.
all the weight that she's lost, it makes her look big. Like, 'cause she's already big, like tall. It's
Yeah,
like,
like her having that
mm-mm.
big hair makes her body look bigger than it is, but it also makes her head look this big. Like her
Right.
face looks this big, and it's nothing but just a lion's mane. And I
She's
just
not.
feel like she's too pretty for that. I'm kind of here for the afro and her wearing her natural hair. I don't like the big
I
joint,
don't
but
think she
I'm
should wear her
okay
natural
for
hair.
that. But with her being the only black girl on this show, I feel like that's a setup for some
Well,
ignorant comments that I'm not here for.
there's Ava Dash,
Well, okay, okay, okay.
and
Well,
I'm like, where did that? Because I'm like, is Damon Dash? What is he doing?
I'm sure she came up. She was on the Growing Up Hip Hop New York.
Oh, girl.
That
Well, I mean, I'll give it a couple episodes. I mean, and we can come back and talk about it. Maybe I'll be surprised. I mean, I'll give it a couple episodes. But on a scale of 1 to 10, as far as if I'm excited to see it, I will give it a 4.
I'm at a 6.
So moving on and circling back around, those are our really big topics, but I think that there is some honorable mentions that need to be called out. And that's Shamia Mwangi as well as Cynthia Bailey. And I am just so happy to have worked with both of them. Even though the girls say that the girl has not done anything, but it's really good to see Shamia. I remember the first time I met Shamia, it was at Bar One. She was a very, very sweet girl, a hustler through and through. And we've hung out. We've talked all night. I mean, I remember one night she had to go to I believe it was the Bahamas to do a photo shoot for the calendar for the Atlanta Hawks. And I wanded her hair while she slept. It was a thing. Time went on, of course. People grow, people part, but I think it's always still a nice, hey, how you doing, girl? And I'm happy to see her do her big one. I do think that the way that she is being portrayed, a lot of people don't really too much care for it. But I mean, I think that she getting in where she fit in, and she gotta just, see how this is gonna go. But I think that she's handling her own.
I agree with that. I'm the person, me, who don't like how she's being portrayed this season. I think I just Shamia got all these qualifications. This lady got her own talent. She making her own piece of money. She got a rich piece of husband. Okay? She got the house. She got cheerings. She got personal story between her and her husband, her and her children. She's the nucleus of this group. She's the glue, as they keep saying. And I just feel like I am tired of hearing the words plus one and best friend attached to Shamia's name. I feel like, yes, we know that she's Portia's best friend. She done been on the show. She been a friend of the show. They like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know. Why are we not developing her as the glue? Why are we not developing her as the personality? Why are we not down to the Hawks game? Why are we not in the studio? Why are we not on date night with her and Gerald? Why are we not down to the skating rink with her and Shia? Why are we not in the hospital with her and Shiloh? Like,
she doesn't want he doesn't want to be on the show like that, and she said that. And I think it's still really too soon. I think that I think she's getting actually developed the best out of everybody else, because we're actually seeing roots, and we're not just seeing things that we're getting attached to her, so that if she's not there next season, we're gonna be like, oh, because we liked her. Britt and Kelly, not so much. Angela, kind of, but I think that she is I wouldn't necessarily say being developed, but I do think that she may have been the most open with being transparent and truthful about her story. And I think that when the production team sat down, and you can tell this is a completely different production team by the way that they're producing the show. I believe that when they all sat down and they were like, you know what? This is how we're going to produce the show. This is what we're going to be doing for Shamia. This is going to be her story. And because because they've asked her before and she finally was able to do the show, of course, she's not going to turn down the check and the opportunity, because it is a platform that she could work. And honestly speaking, I would do the same thing, even though people know the meat of it all. It's like, how much I'm getting paid, what y'all need me to do, what y'all need me to show. Okay, cool. And then you have more autonomy next season to actually, give more. But I think she has the best story out of all of the newbies,
Hmm.
Because like when
She
it
has the
comes down
most
to,
story next to Angela, but we're
and
gonna
she
get to that
has
in a
the most authentic to the brand of what Real Housewives was. She got money. She has this happy family. Like it gives us something to build on. You know, she has
yeah.
the full. To me, she is the first housewife in a long time that has the full package. Like there's no scandal attached to her.
And
Only
that's
thing we
why
know is that she's been down for her friend. She came down to the reunion and read that girl because she was down for her friend, and you know.
and I agree with that. And I think that's why I'm so frustrated is because she's so freaking qualified. She's so qualified for where she is. And I think the thing that just kind of sent me over the edge was not her, because it's not her doing. I think she's just being her, and they're using what they're using, right? So if I was her, I would have took 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 the check too. Yeah, Gerald finally signed on. Oh, so I get to do this, and this. Yeah, come on, down to the thing. Come on down to Sterling Hall. Slide on in. But I think the thing that kind of took me over the edge with it was this little thing that I saw that they had her do, where it was like, Shamia, finish all of Portia's taglines. I was like,
I mean, I get why you was like that, but at the same time, nobody else did it. They're giving her moments and
and
opportunities.
that's my point though. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's my point. Like, it's almost backhanded because it's like, yeah, nobody else got that type of look or like that type of thing. But then it's like, you make it about something she's trying to stand out from, even down to her tagline, plus one. I've always been that one. It's like that I can kind of give her because it's your first season, it's your first thing. We've known you as the friend the whole time, and that is what it is. But girl, that I was just like, can we see something about her, please? Like, can we see something about her? Why did it have to be about Portia? Now, where I will give them their credit, that video that you showed me the other day of her and Shia together in the confessional in them yellow dresses, that is what I want to see. That is what I'm talking about. That is how they should be utilizing her. Not that finished Portia's tagline mess. This is what y'all should have been doing.
I think that if she goes with the flow, and she's a smart girl, she's very bright, she's a hustler. I think as she goes with the flow, more opportunities will be presented to her, and I think that's what she's there for. She's there for the connections and the because she's gonna go and network a room.
Oh, yes.
She's gonna just ride and take advantage of it. And honestly speaking, I think the only reason that we became cool with the time that we were cool is because she saw me, you know, in the places that she was. She saw me at the filmings with housewives and things like that. So it was like, oh, this is a person that's moving and shaking.
Mhm.
And I think that she is a mover and shaker. So I mean, I think that she as long as she stays on this trajectory, I think that she has opportunities waiting because I would love to see her down at E News. Would love to see her at E News, but
Yeah.
she has to start somewhere, and I think that she has it. She has the voice to be E News, red carpet correspondent somewhere, and all of that. I think that she has the marketability, and I think she's commercial enough to still be everyone's best friend, like she said. And I think that she just is a person that can become someone that people want to see and that people are happy to see, like the Cynthia Bailey of it all. Because Cynthia,
Miss Mamas.
Cynthia,
Miss
Cynthia,
Mamas
Cynthia. Like this lady,
is everything,
Cynthia,
everywhere, all at once.
like she has just been. One thing I like about Cynthia's story is that like she doesn't mind getting up and dusting herself off. And I believe that from being a model to getting married on the show, getting divorced on the show, getting into another relationship on the show, then breaking up, then being open about not having money like that, then having these friendships, then kicking somebody, and doing all those different things, and then she's able to have a fabulous podcast, which we both love, with Crystal. And she's been on all these other shows. Like, I really am excited to see. I meet her on Traders.
Well, no, she hasn't done Trader yet.
She did Big Brother.
She did Big Brother, and I think that's it until this show that she's got coming out on Hulu, Got to Get
Mm-hmm.
Out, which is
Mm-hmm.
sickening. But it's crazy how Cynthia also pops up like on every Bravo show, everywhere. Like she was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She popped up on Orange County. I'm like, what? Like Cynthia
She
knows
is the poster
everybody.
child for being the girl's girl.
Hmm.
She is the girl's girl. And I think that when you think of like Bravo celebrity, I think that she is one of those people. I think that Kyle is one of those people. I
Mm.
think that Giselle is one. You know, she shows up. If I had to pick somebody from Potomac, I mean, I think that she would be the pick. Um,
And as a producer, I would pick her. I wouldn't necessarily pick her under the guise of being a girl's girl, but I know
oh
she
no,
gonna
I
get
didn't know.
the
Wendy's
job
the girl's.
done.
I think Wendy's the girl's girl when we look at Potomac.
Yeah,
But
but Gisella's gonna get the job done.
yeah,
She
she's
gonna
gonna get the
definitely
job
show up
done.
and work.
Yeah, as long as she got
Mm.
some food,
As
and
long
as
as she
long
got some
as she
food
got
and she got her tequila bottle. If you
mm-hmm.
saw Girls Trip, then you know what I'm referencing. But I'm living for Cynthia. I'm glad she's a friend. I think, with her being able to walk away from Housewives at the top, they wanted her back. Yes, they gave her a friend contract, but she said, I have the ability to walk away and come back when I feel like it. When she popped up the next season, she got paid for it. It ain't like, she just, showed up. No, she negotiated a coin. She's been able to do her acting. She's had consistent acting roles. She's been doing movie after movie after movie. She popping up on shows. She ended up doing the Upshaws with Nene when she came
Traveling.
for Portia.
Like that lady. That lady is. I think that she is the epitome of what I like to see for Black women, because
Mhm.
she raised her child. Now she's like getting her me time. She's all over the place.
Why wasn't
And
Noelle on Next Generation NYC?
she's not in New York.
But I mean, how many times we done seen people move for a television show?
I don't think that Cynthia could afford to just put her up in New York either. I mean, I don't
I
think.
mean,
I
her
think that
work. She pay her own bills. According to Cynthia, she pay her own bills. According to Cynthia, she pay her own bills. She could have, sublet her house, went and rented an apartment down there. She could have moved in with Riley. They
I
could
don't
have
really think.
roommated for six
To be
months. That's
honest,
a
I
nasty
don't
piece of
think that
storyline.
Riley. I don't. It never. To me, Noelle was always like the outlier for me. I don't think that she
I
ever
agree.
was the girl to do that type of television. Like, I want to see. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Riley pop up in some movie somewhere, or you know what I'm saying, like somewhere else,
Mm.
doing, like, being an actress, and following in her father's footsteps and something like that. Like, I would prefer that for her. No shade to anybody else, but I mean, Noelle, I like Noelle. I mean, but and she could have been, fluid
I mean,
all up and through the show. So, you know, oh, that's a good question. Somebody call Cynthia and ask her why Noelle
yeah,
went on the
get on the
show.
phone and see
Yeah,
what's going
get
on.
Cynthia on the phone
Because
down.
Leon is in New York. Because Leon lived in New York. She could have lived with Leon.
She could have lived with Leon. That could have been a thing. And I actually probably would have been interested to see her, but maybe it's like but we never know who was asked either,
That's why I had that question in the very beginning of like, how did they come to this cast? And how did they come to the decision of mixing Bravo kids with, notables and semi-notables and people we don't know and people we do know? I wonder how they came to that decision. I'm always more so curious about how the sausage is made than the actual show itself,
Mhm.
because I think that always helps me go into watching the show with a clear mind. Like if I know how we got here, then I won't go in with so many questions because I know what I'm looking at up front. You know what I
And
mean?
we don't fully even know what the premise of the show really is either, because in my eyes, when it comes down to Next Generation, I would think that they are following in the footsteps of their famous parents. in
Mm-hmm.
some way. Like, to me, that would be interesting. Like, you got Candy, who was a musician, and then
And
you have
Riley out here writing
entertainment
songs.
lawyer. You get what I'm saying? Like that to me goes.
And I
Um,
wonder, speaking of, I'm glad you brought that up because Riley said that she wants to be an entertainment lawyer, this and the third, blah, 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 blah. That's why she went to school in New York. Gia said that she wanted to be a lawyer as well. She went to college. She finished college, I believe. She either finished college and didn't go to law school or she dropped out of college. To my understanding, I believe she finished her undergrad and she just didn't go to law school because she was getting all of these influencer opportunities and social media money. And then this show came about and all of that. And she got the podcast now, something chaos. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, I wonder, is Riley still in school to be a lawyer?
I
Because
mean,
Gia said that she didn't continue school because of these opportunities. I wonder if Riley is going to be on the show still trying to zip it and zoo it down to the law school. Because that's going to be a question for me because I know people are going to be like, oh, well, Riley can do it. Why ain't Gia finish up school? And I hope Riley is.
I feel like Gia's doing a lot though, because I mean, I see with just knowing partly of what she's doing already. Like, I mean, Riley is trying to be an influencer. Gia's already one, but
Gia is an influencer. I mean, she
I
did
mean,
do
there
the
is
Generation Face Off.
she
So
black.
I'm like,
So
maybe we don't know what all she doing.
we don't. I mean, we don't. Let's hope that she let's hope that we see it. I mean, I don't know, but it would have been interesting to see Noelle on the show. I would have enjoyed that. Or
Mm.
even, don't Mallory got kids? I mean, it could have been, my aunt is Cynthia
Mallory
Bay.
got kids.
I mean, it could have been that situation. That's another generation as well. But I mean, you know,
Hmm.
I just think that nowadays, I wonder why it took so long for this show to come out. Like, what was the hiccups and
I
who
think
is
we had to
producing?
just wait for enough kids to be grown. I
No, I'm
think we
saying
have
from the
enough.
first time. I mean, I heard about this being a thing 2.5 years ago. So I wonder, like, what was the process and how was the sausage made? That's what I'm wondering. So, but anywho,
Hmm.
shout out to Cynthia Bailey. Shout out to Shamia Mwangi.
We go
Um,
back, relax.
okay, kick back. And I'm interested to seeing how Real Housewives of Atlanta turns out. You guys can always catch that on Bravo as well as Peacock. And I am seated. I'm seated for this season of Real Housewives.
I am.
If it's just to support the girls that I know and love, my number ones on the show, and just to kind of see how this unfolds. But yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all leave a comment. Let us know if you like us covering these current event moments, these things that are going on in social medias, going on in the news. And let us know if you enjoyed Reality Rehab, because I think we're going to be continuing to do this. So this is
Yeah.
going to be fun. But yeah, I mean, until next time, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the ReVoice YouTube channel and listen to the Casually D podcast on all platforms. This will be available and is available on all places that you get your podcasts. Until next time, make sure you keep your conversations casual, but make them just a little bit deep. We'll see you later.
Thank you so much.